Okay, I just want to thank Rena and Mark Lehman for sponsoring the Chabur Le'ili Nishmas, Rena's grandfather, Herschel Tzvi ben Chaim, the Divitarish B'yan Elias Neshama, Schus Elias Neshama for Herschel Tzvi ben Chaim, and should also be a Schus Refuah Shlema for Shavtai ben Chaim ben Ahuva, Shav Refuah Shlema Bekarov. Also want to thank the Zanjurian family for sponsoring in memory of Avi's cousin, Pnia Rachel Bas Mordechai, the Divitarish B'yan Elias Neshama for Pnia Roya Bas Mordechai. So the Gemara says, towards the end of Tezayin and Aleph, so the Gemara quotes from the Mishnah. Again, we're in the last stage of the Mishnah, of the halachas that require a Sanhedrin Ayin Aleph. So the Mishnah says, Ein moitziin lemilchemes harashus ela al pi bezdin shel shivim ve'echad. If Klal Yisrael want to go to war, so we know there are two types of wars that Klal Yisrael could get involved in. One is a Milchemes Mitzvah, and the other is a Milchemes Rishus. So Rashi says in the Mishnah, what is this? So you need you need Bezdin Agadol. Rashi says the Milchemes Harishus. So Rashi, it's 4 lines down in the wide lines, and Rashi in Bezim and Aleph. Kol Milchama Kari Rishus. Every Milchama is considered a Milchemes Rishus. Levad mi Milchemes Yoshua Shaisalich Boish es Eretz Yisrael. With the exception of what? Of Yoshua's capturing Eretz Yisrael, which is considered a Milchemes Mitzvah. Rabbi Isai, the Rambam, is clearly in disagreement with Shitas Rashi over here. The Rambam in Parakeh of Hilchos Malachim, Halacha Aleph. Ein HaMelech nilchem tchila el al Milchemes Mitzvah. First of all, the Rambam says, a melech that cannot start off with Milchemes Rishus. He can't just say, you know what, let's conquer Japan. He first has to start off with Milchemes Mitzvah, and then the Rambam says one could extend and, broaden and widen the Malchus after he finishes with a Milchemes Mitzvah, but it has to be a Hemshech. Ve'ezei Milchemes Mitzvah, zu Milchemes Shiva Amamim. It's Milchama with the 7 nations inhabiting Eretz Yisrael, u'Milchemes Amalek, Ve'ezes Yisrael mitzar sheba aleim, or saving Klal Yisrael from an enemy attacking them. Ve'achakach nilcham b'Milchemes Harishus v'yah Milchama shenilcham b'shar ha'amim de laharchu gvul Yisrael laharbes b'galuso v'shamo. And then once he finished Milchemes Mitzvah, then the Rambam says he can continue in a Milchemes Rishus, and that's a Milchama to do what? Either laharchiv gvur Eretz Yisrael, to widen the boundaries of Eretz Yisrael, or laharbos bigdulaso v'shamo, or just to make Am Yisrael more chashiv, to make the Melech look better, that he has a broader king. That's a Milchemes Rishus, and that has to come after Milchemes Mitzvah. So the obvious question on Rashi is mind-boggling, and there's really not such a good teretz. How could Rashi say the only Milchemes Mitzvah is Yoshua conquering Eretz Yisrael? What happened to Amalek? What happened to Zainam? I mean, how are these things not Milchemes Mitzvahs? Well, what does Rashi do with Milchemes Amalek? Rashi says every other Milchama is a Milchemes Rishus. It's not kibush, but there's a chi of Milchama. The Rebbeinu Shalom says you have to be moiche nachay timcha. Oh, it's this week's parsha. Machay timcha. You have to. What? What do you mean? You want to say that Rashi holds that it's a chayvas hayachid, that I have to kill Amalek, but yeah, yeah. So maybe Rashi holds that each and every one of us, privately, have to walk over to Amalek and kill him. But there's no din Milchama. Milchama is a din with a melech, a din with a tzibur, and a chayvus hatzibur. Could be. So then Nashim, maybe. There's an Avnei Nezer. The Avnei Nezer says a charifas. He says, what's this prat? He says that there's a. Why does the chinuch say that women are pater from zacher? So he says because mechias amalek is a mitzvah sasei shazman groma. Why? Because it's not neig on Shabbos. Because there's a chiyuv to kill the amalek for the sake of killing amalek. Masha'en kein zok the Avnei Nezer, the chiyuv of killing shiva amamim, that noshim are chayavos in. Why? Because there it's really not about killing the people. It's really a malacha shein tzricha legufa. You don't really need them dead. You just need them out of Eretz Yisrael. So it's not the inyan is not to be noitel the neshama. It's really malach shein tzrich legufa. So he says depends what your purpose of killing them is, whether or not it's going to be noig on Shabbos, which is going to have an implication whether or not it's going to be a malach tzrich legufa or malach shein tzrich legufa. But if it's a milchemes mitzvah, so then milchemes mitzvah even noshim have a shaychus. That's also a din. They're not going to go out to the battle, so they have to somehow participate. They have to somehow be involved. But the Rambam in the next halacha in halacha beis says the following: our Mishnah that we just read said Milchemes harishus needs what? Bezdin shel shivim ve'echad. Milchemes mitzvah ain't sarach litol ba rishus bezdin. Ela yoytze me'atzmo b'chol eis. Melech does not have to ask permission from anyone for Milchemes mitzvah. He can go out on his own. The kofa amlitzes, and he can force the nation to go out. Now, it's not entirely clear whether or not the pashtas. I would have said that you need to ask Bezdin Agadol's permission, and Bezdin Agadol could veto. If you look at the sugya, Rashi in Brachas on Daf Gimel and Beis tells us that you need to go out to the Bezdin Agadol. Rashi says a chiddush. Rashi says, why? Not to stop them. The Melech obviously has the right to go to war. Rashi says the reason why you need to go to the Bezdin Agadol of Shivim Echad, Kedei sheyispallu la'am Yisrael. So that when you're going to battle, that they're going to daven on behalf of the Jews, but really the Milchama is totally on the Melech. So that Rashi, maybe you have to say that it's not a chovas hatzibor, but it's a chovas hayach. So how do you know that you have to go out, and how do you know that you have to either involve the Bezdin Agadol, that their vote counts, or somehow ask them in the process? Minani mili zok the Gemara Amar Ravivo. Ravivo tells us the Amar Kra ulifnei Elazar hakoyin Yamod hu zemelech. This is talking about Yoshua when he was going out to war. Now, even though this sounds like, especially according to what Rashi just says, this is the prototypical Milchemes mitzvah, Yoshua going out to war to conquer Eretz Yisrael. So the Rabbeinu Yoina here points out, yeah, but it was talking about a situation where, we'll see in a second, there was a Kohen HaMashuach HaMilchama. And the Kohen HaMashuach HaMilchama that used to give the speech in Parshas Kiseitze before they went out to battle, says the Rabbeinu Yoina, that speech was only by a Milchemes Rishus. It wasn't by a Milchemes Mitzvah. So this pasuk, even though technically Yoshua was probably talking about Milchemes Mitzvah, but the fact that there was a Kohen Mashuach HaMilchama there, the Rabbeinu Yoina says it's coming to teach us for when it's going to be a Milchemes Rishus that you're going to need the Bezdin of Ayin Aleph. The problem is, the Rabbeinu Yoina finishes off, he says, that doesn't work according to the Rambam Shita, that the Rambam holds that a Kohen HaMashuach HaMilchama would be both by a Milchemes Rishus and by a Milchemes Mitzvah. So he says, according to the Rambam, you would have to say that the Gemara could have asked that this is a Milchemes Mitzvah. Fine. So the Gemara says, which by the way is a raya that Yoshua had a din of a melech, not only Moshe Rabbeinu had a din of a melech. Yoshua is a melech. V'chol b'nei Yisrael ito zeh Moshuach HaMilchama, and Kol b'nei Yisrael ito, which is referring to the Moshuach HaMilchama speaking to all b'nei Yisrael before they go to battle. which is the Kohen Meshulach Milchama. That was the Rebbeinu Yoda's Raya that we're talking about in Milchamas HaRishus, because Rov Rishonim against the Rambam hold Kohen Meshulach Milchama is only relevant for Milchamas Rishus, not a Milchamas Mitzvah. V'chol ha'eda zu Sanhedrin. So the Gemara says, so these are the Makoros that you need Sanhedrin, and you need the Melech. And what else right, so yeah, that's fine. So the Gemara says, good. So the Gemara says, Vidilma l'Sanhedrin hu de ka'amr l'Rachmana de l'Shaluyu b'Aaron v'Tumim. Maybe you don't technically need Sanhedrin, but you just needed, the Gemara was just saying, ask the Sanhedrin to find out from the Urim v'Tumim to notify you whether or not this is a good idea. So the Gemara says, you're right, this is a bad raya. And that's what Rebbeinu Yonah says, we weren't so concerned that it pashta sounds like a Milchamas Mitzvah, because the Gemara could have asked, and the Gemara rejects it anyways. Elaki hadam Rav Achbar Bizna. Rather, it's a raya from the following Gemara. Amar Rav Shimon Chasidor. Shimon Chasidor said, Kinor hayatayali lemalam yutashel shel David. There was a harp that was hanging on top of David's bed. Kevin sheyigia chatzos laila ruach tzvainis min hasheves bo. Once midnight came, it was a special wind. This is Gemara in Brachos. That's what was Rashi in Brachos about the Sanhedrin. Is talking about this Gemara when he says that they should be mispalel, that they're not. You don't need the Sanhedrin permission. This is the Gemara he's going on exactly. And the ruach would come and it would play. Miyad David oimed va'isik b'Torah at chatzos. David would wake up and be oisik b'Torah. Ad she'Allah amad hashachar, until Alois hashachar came. Came in Sha'Allah, Amar Shachar, Nichnasu Chachmei Yisrael Etzro, Amrlo. So once Alois Shachar came, and so they came in, they gave David HaMelech a significant time to learn. So now, Tachlis, we gotta get down to business. Amrlo, Adoneinu HaMelech, they said to the master of the Melech, Amcha Yisrael Tzrichen Lefarnasa. We have no money. Amar Lehen Lechu V'Isparnasu Zemizeh. So go out and try to make some business, interact with each other. Amr lo, they said to him, Ein hakoimetz masbia sari. There's not enough virim out there. There's not enough people out there that are going to really satisfy the lion. Ve'ein habor mismale milchul yoso. And also the pit doesn't get filled up. So Taisus writes in the end, I like this pshat. I have an atiyah for this pshat. Taisus writes in the end, he has a few pshat in what this means. Look at the end of Taisus in the bottom. Ravinatam pirish me chulyaso. Chulyaso Taisus brings from other areas that when you're talking about a Rosh Hashanah on Shabbos, so sometimes there are mounds that you make with dirt. So that's a chulya. So Taisus says, I'm sorry, I was referring to the shot beforehand. So Rabbi Tam says a different shot. Michulyaso hainu mimakoro. De'ein mismala habor mayim mimkor neviyaso. If you have water that's coming from inside the pit, from underneath the ground, it's never going to fill up, right? The only way the bore is going to fill up if you have some outside source that's going to fill up the water. So I think the same is true when it's fundraising. Fundraising, it's never going to come from within. The bar is never going to fill up from within. It's going to have to come from some external source. It's this pshat of Rebbeinu Tam. Rebbeinu Tam knew how to fundraise. Fine. Stuck the Gemara. So they said to David HaMelech, Gate nisht. Amr lahem. So listen to what David HaMelech says. L'chu pishtu yidechem begdud. So you're right. We got to go to war. So what they do? Miyad yoyatzin ba'achitoyfel. They went to Achitoyfel to get Eitzah on a strategy, what the right move for the war is. Again, Rabbi Isai, what type of Milchama is this? It's Milchama's Rishus. They have no Chiyav right now. They're doing it for Parnasa. V'nimlachim b'Sanhedrin, and they get permission from the Sanhedrin. V'shoyalin b'Urim v'Tumim, and they ask the Urim v'Tumim. By the way, right. Amar of Yosef, my kra v'achrei Achitoyfel b'nayol ben Yoyada v'Ev Yasser v'Sar Tzvol l'Melech Yoyav. Achitophel ze yoyetz. V'cheinu omer ve'etzas Achitophel asher yoyetz. Ubenayo ben Yoyada zu Sanhedrin. So the Makaris, the Gemara has all these Makaris for all the different people that you have to ask. Ev Yasser Elu Urim V'tumim. So you have to ask the Urim V'tumim, you have to ask the Sanhedrin, you have to ask the Yoyetz on how to do this. V'cheinu omer benayo ben Yoyada al Kresu v'al Plesi. V'lam nikron shma Kresu Plesi. Why is the Urim V'tumim called Kresu Plesi? Kresu shekorsin divrayem. Kresu because it cuts its word and gives you direct message. Uplesi shemuflom ma'aseyim, and it's placey because it's unbelievable wonderment what it does. Fine. That's the Gemara's Makaris. You need to ask the Sanhedrin, and from Milchamas Rishus you have to ask the Sanhedrin. But Rabbi say, when we analyze this Gemara, one has to ask themselves a major question. David HaMelech is being asked, we don't have a Parnasa. And David HaMelech is answered, no Parnasa, let's go to war. What type of answer is that? What's the what? Okay, I understand that it might work, but what happened to Pikuach Nefesh? What happened to Sakonas Nefashos? Why is David HaMelech not at all taking any of this into Cheshbon? So let's see this fundamental Yisoid that Rabbi say it's Mamash Hashkacha. I didn't even realize that it's this week's parasha. So let's see this Inyan. Very, very important Yisod. The Sefer HaChinuch writes. You have Adi? You have another one? The two sheets. So Sefer HaChinuch writes in the mitzvah on Kuf Nun Vav here. Here, the last line of the Sefer HaChinuch. On Daf Kuf Nun Vav. V'oiver al zeh uboli yado echad mehen, one of the Zayin Amim, someone who doesn't kill. V'yachol lahargo, and he has the ability to kill him. Mibli sheyistakin bedavar v'lahargo, bital esezeh. If you had the ability to kill him and you wouldn't have gotten hurt, so then you violate this mitzvah. Right? When you look at, now let's turn to the other mitzvah, the mitzvah to kill Amalek, these two mitzvahs of Milchama. Right? Last line of this mitzvah. V'oiver al zeh, ubali yado ech mizera Amalek, yesh sipek biyado lahargo, v'lo hargo, bitol esezeh. So what's the difference, Rabbi say? Yistakin. The Chinuch says nothing about being mistaken when it comes to Mechias HaMalek. It says you always have to kill him. And when it comes to the mitzvah of Zayin Amimim, he says it's totally on whether or not the guy is a strong guy or not. Are you going to actually win the brawl or not? So it comes along the Minchas Chinuch, and he's bothered by this. Let's just see. Yeah. Tzarech inen. Nihi dechol ha-mitzvahs nidches mipnei ha-sakana. Mikolmakom mitzvah zu. It's in the second paragraph in Gimel on Kuf Nun Vav on the first page again. Tzarech inen. Nihi dechol ha-mitzvahs nidches mipnei ha-sakana. Kol mitzvah zu atar tzivsa lilchom imam. V'yadua da atar lo tismach dineh ala nes. V'derech ha'olam ner hargim mishnei hatzadim be'es ha-milchama. Imkein chazina da atar gizra lilchom imam. After Yisakanim, imkein tchuya sakanim b'makom hazeh. So ask the Minchas Chinuch, I understand, don't you have to kill yourself? Don't you have to put yourself into a sakana? And that's exactly what he writes in Milchamas HaMalek. In Dalid, on the opposite side. Karkasavti le'el, in Dalid. Karkasavti le'el, denir da'af b'makom sakana mechuyavim. Ki yadua da'atar lo tismach dinim al nisim kavur b'ramban kam apamim. Tortzi v'sana le'elechem v'tisakin nefashos b'milchama. Gzeres ha'kaz da'afilu b'sakanas nefashos mechuyav mitzvazu. So this idea that the Minchas Chinuch is driving at is a Briskerov in our Parsha, Parshas B'Shalach. Briskerov said a Moira Dikavart in the Haftarah of Parshas B'Shalach. The pasuk says in Bishalach, in the Haftarah, by Devorah being misnabe and telling two of the shvatim that have to go to battle and put themselves nafshal lamus in a risking their lives to kill. She highlights dafka two shvatim, and the rest of Am Yisrael she doesn't say that lashon. So listen to what the Brisker Rav says. Yesh loimer habir bezeh. It's the bottom paragraph of the Chidush Amar and Reza Levi. On page 32. Zvulun im cheref nafshal lamos v'naftali. Yishlamar abir bezeh. Al pi mashkosav mokom acher. Al mashkosav achinuch b'mitzvah tov chuf hei. The mitzvahs hachrim tamrichrimim nidchis mipnei sakonas nefashos. V'minchas chinuch hikshal zeh. Tarikol milchama ispa sakonas nefashos. U'mikom kom mitzvah lilachem imayim. Ubal korch de mitzvah zu shayni. Ein sham edvarav. V'kasalfti al zeh. Dezeh she'ein mashkichim b'milchama al sakonas nefashos. You have an issue. Should we go to war? We don't take pikuach nefesh into a cheshbon. The definition of Milchama, says the Brisker Rav, is against kol haTorah kula. Sakonas nefashos is not a cheshbon. Zeu midine Milchama. By definition, the fact that it's a Milchama, so pikuach nefesh is not taken into consideration. Darayotzin gam leMilchamas harishus. Af she'im sham mitzvah klal. What's the raya? It's obviously not a cheshbon. Our Gemara, how you let it go in? For money? You're putting yourself into a life-threatening situation. That is the parsha of Milchamas Rishus. That the Melech has the ability to decide to go to war. He has the ability to decide. Aval mitzvah kol mitzvah shabatayra shenidcha mipnei sakonas nefashos. V'achinoch harimari b'misha bal yado echad mizayin amimim shelo b'milchama. So Dr. Brisker Rav, why is it that the chinuch says that if a guy comes to you and he's from Zayin Amimin, so it's totally on whether or not it's a sakon or not? Says the Brisker Rav, it's very simple. He came up to you not b'teres milchama. So if he came up to you not b'teres milchama, so then pikuach nefesh plays a role. Our Gemara and our idea that you can even go for money and risk your life, that's only if it's with the instruction of the Melech. It's going to the Sanhedrin, and it's b'teres milchama. That's the matir. Now we can go, even if odds are against us, even if it's a risky mission. But it has to be that it's not just meeting a guy on the street. Listen to the Brisker Rav in this week's Haftarah. V'hinei dvoira amra lebara ki yikach imo yaseres alofim ish mibnei naftali mibnei zvulun. She says to Barak he should take with him 10,000 men from the Naftali and the Zvulun Shvatim. Aval shar shvatim lo isa aleim chayves milchama zu. But the other Shvatim did not have the chiyuv milchama. Rak hayu muchayaven lavo la'azar b'shvil chayves hachrim tachrimim motelas al kol Yisrael. They had a chiyuv of hachrim tachrimim, a chiyuv that's ke'ein meeting a guy on the street, not a chiyuv b'teres milchama. V'zeu shomer hakosel. Listen to the Brisker Rav, it's sweet as dvash. Ki Zvulun and Naftali cherpu nafshan gam lamus b'milchama. They have to put themselves in a sakonas nefashos because they have a choivas milchama. Zuki milchama im ashkichan al sakonas nefashos. Those that have a teres milchama, they have to ignore sakonas nefashos. Aval shara shvatim, the other shvatim that just have a mitzvah hachrim takrimim. Im ki yu mechavim lavu lazor l'kayim mitzvahs hachrim takrimim. Aval lo yu mechuyavim lahachnis atzmos sakonas nefashos. They don't have to put themselves, like the pasuk says, lamus, because they're not coming b'teres milchama. Ki ha-mitzvah yinishar mitzvah shebeteres shenin from b'nei sekunas nefashos. So great, half of a fellow. The Brisker Rav is poship shad in our sugya. That's what David HaMelech says. You need money? Let's go to war. Let's risk our lives. Yeah, because of b'teres milchama. Here's the kasher Rabbi say. Amalek, the chinuch is talking about what? Let's go back to the other chinuch. V'oiver al zeh ubal liyado echad mizera Amalek. Again, he's talking about what? Me. I'm not in the Israeli army. Not Milchama. Meeting an Amalek on the street. And yet, what? Well, that's what we were saying, that it's a Chayvas HaYachid. And yet, but that's a kash on the Brisker Rav. If the Brisker Rav's vort is true, then what? Then this doesn't work. It's a nice vort in Zayin Amamin that there was Hachrim Tachrimim, there was a Chayvas HaYachid, not B'teres Milchama, so therefore it's Toli and Sakana. But why over here is the Chinuch telling me that I have to be mistaken? The Chinuch didn't say over here, im lo Sakana. And the Minchas Chinuch said, this is what I said, and this is what I meant, and that's why it's a kash on the other one, and that's why the Brisker Rav brought his whole vort over there. So isn't this a big kash in the brisker of? So I think not. I think there's a raya to another brisker of. And this is a big chiddush that you see from this line, to be miyasha the brisker of, but I think it's true. Milchama Lashem Ba'amalek Midor Dor. The Milchama with Amalek is also when you meet him on the street. That Milchama is ongoing. So even when I meet him on the street, I have a chiyuv, even though I never trained in the army, even though I have no idea how to shoot a gun. By Amalek, I have a din Milchama. So I have a chiyuv als part of the gedud right now, als part of the Milchama to be mistaken. So the briskerov lefi is mahalech and understanding, and that's knowing in all generations that we have a chiyuv to kill, but not b'toras yachid. We have a chiyuv to kill that b'toras that the Milchama of Amalek has never ended. Yeah.
There's some another just outside of it, because there's another issue with briskerov, because Dvorah herself during the Shirat Dvorah itself actually complaining about other shvatim that they did not come. So but the fact did not come, but the fact that she said to Naphtali and Zvulun to fight because they decided we're sitting on the fence, so we're not getting involved in that. And she clearly in Shirat Dvorah actually sticking it to them that they say that they are the Shevel Mishpat, they're not doing anything.
Right, but the Brisker Rav was saying that they both had obligations, but their obligations were different types of obligations. Right.
Yeah, the thing is that she may have asked them initially, but they did not want.
You're saying she asked them the same request to all of them.
Yes, they said no, and that's the reason she said it. And then she praised. Why did she praise just those? Right.
Okay.
In the Shira itself, I'm talking about the Shira itself.
Still not enough. What do you mean? Zayin Amimim, you have a chiyuv to kill them just to get them off of Eretz Yisrael. Amalek is a chiyuv ritzicha alts Amalek. Right, meaning so his var was based his var the Avnei was based on what the motive is. So that's going to be nogeya whether or not there's going to be a malacha on Shabbos is a malacha tzrich legufa. If it's to kill them, so then that's natilas neshama. You want them dead, so that's a malacha on Shabbos. Then it's not nogeya on Shabbos. Yeah, I hear. You're saying l'chayra that should apply on Shabbos also. Yeah, it's a good R. Yeah. Good. Fine. So Rabbi said, let's just talk Lamaisa. So our Gemara, however you slice it, whether or not you want to play it down, the pashtus of the Gemara is that you need Rishus from Sanhedrin. Not like that Rashi in Brachas, that is just a mispal. Pashtus is, Milchemes Rishus, like the Rambam says, the Melech is a little limited. So, Lamaisa, we don't have a Sanhedrin. So now, the truth is we don't even have a Melech. And we don't have an Urim V'Tumim. So we're in big trouble. So Rabbeinu Yoina writes that although the Ramban writes that there's a mitzvah to ask the Urim V'Tumim, the Rabbeinu Yoina writes it's only shaykh if the Urim V'Tumim are around. If the Urim V'Tumim are around, so then there's no. But what do? We don't have a melech. So this was a big debate, and the Ramban writes like this, and Rav Kook paskin like this, that any governing body that exists in Eretz Yisrael replaces and could, when there is no melech, will now have the din of Milchama based on that governing body to be whoever Am Yisrael elected to be the ruler to replace him to be the leader for the melech. But Rabbi say one thing we don't have is what our sugya is, but you don't have a replacement for the Sanhedrin. So Alpi din. Yeah, if you play down the role of Sanhedrin, so then that's fine. But the problem is the Rambam doesn't say that, and the Rambam sounds like the Pash. That's what I was saying. The Pashtus is you really need the Sanhedrin. I agree 100%. If you play down the role of Sanhedrin, so maybe one could say that the Sanhedrin is not makif. But the way the Rambam brings it down, it creates a little bit of an ikov, and that's the halacha. The IDF has no heter to make a Milchemes Rishus. Every single Milchama that will exist Bizman Hazeh has to be defined as a Milchemes mitzvah. So what is that, a Milchemes mitzvah? So now, so the Rambam, I read you the Rambam again. we'll take the Rambam's explanation. We have a very hard time with this Rashi, why he ignored everything else. But if we take the Rambam's explanation, so I think Adi is right. Oh, exactly. So the Rambam says this. The Rambam said, what's the example of Milchamas Mitzvah that the Bezdin doesn't need Sanhedrin? Ve'ezros Yisrael mitzar sheba aleihem. Someone's coming to start with them and they need to defend themselves, so they're allowed to do that. So that you can have Bizman Hazeh. Now, here's the question. What about a preemptive strike? What about the 6 day? What about the 6 day war? So that's not so pashut. That there's a Gemara in Saita. Gemara in Saita discusses. So listen to the Gemara. Yeah, exactly. I hear you. So listen to what the Gemara says. Amar Rabbi Yochanan Rishus. Chayva de Rabbi Yehuda Amar Rav Milchemes Yoshua Lichbaish Divrei Kol Chayva. If Yoshua is conquering, so everyone agrees that that's Chayva. Milchemes based David leRavcha, based David to extend Eretz Yisrael Divrei Kol Rishus. Ki pligi lemuute oivdei koichavim deloi leisei alayhu mar. So deloi leisei alayhu, basically preempt them to make sure that they don't plan and they don't gain access. Mar karle mitzvah umar karle rishus, and the Rambam doesn't count that. The Rambam writes what? I read you the Rambam. The Rambam writes, Hatzar Shabal, Mitzar Shabalim. It sounds like they're attacking them already. So one could argue that the preemptive strike, right, is it would not be a Milchemes Mitzvah. I mean, it's very difficult because, like Mark is saying, like if you don't do that, then it's already imminent in any say. You see it coming. They're already building. Right. But there is another kula, meaning because the shaila was basically if those that they're not asking the shaila, but if one would argue was the 6 day war a Milchemes Mitzvah because they made that preemptive strike in doing that again because we need everything to be a Milchemes Mitzvah. Milchemes Rishos is not an option for us because we're lacking in our Gemara of Sanhedrin. Even or Metumim would not have bothered us, but Sanhedrin is something that would be ma'akif from Milchemes Rishos. So we wanted everything to be Milchemes Mitzvah. The only svara that one could argue is that Klal Yisrael is always in a state of Milchemes Mitzvah. Rav Shechter writes like this from Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky that this was a fascinating shaila that came up, Psak Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky, that really just changes the whole scope of understanding Eretz Yisrael's matzav, and could have fundamental nafkaminas when you judge joining the army, that when Rav Hutner when the Pan Am plane was hijacked and Rav Hutner was taken captive, so the Aguda wanted to collect money to redeem him. So the problem is that the Gemara in Gittin tells us that you're not allowed to redeem anyone Yoser Mi'al Dmehem. So right, the Maharam was one of them. He died. Maharam Yerimberg died in jail because he didn't want them to pay out for him, and that was even though Al Pi Din the Maharam Yerimberg was probably mutter because Taisus writes that the Gadol Ador and a leader you're allowed to play Yisur Maldim Dmeim Pashtus because that's a very very big need for Klal Yisrael to have their Gedolim and for them not to that's extreme. That's not, or it isn't, or by definition, it's not Yoser Mi'al Dameh. So they wanted to use that argument that Rav Hutner would be one of the manhigei of Klal Yisrael, and therefore we should pay Yosef Maldim Deim to redeem him. But Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky paskin that they weren't allowed to, because Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky said even though it's a hijacked plane, it's part of a longer, constant Milchama that never stopped to exist. And since the Milchama from 1948 never ended, and they originally attacked us and are continuing to attack us, so we're in an ongoing Milchama, and in a time of Milchama, the din is that you don't pay even for a Gadol Adar, because then you have to fight against them, and you can't redeem anyone. If you're paying them money, that means you're paying for bullets that are going to kill Klal Yisrael. So you're not allowed to do that even in the time of Milchama. Yeah. L'chayra, that's part of the same. That was the Gilad Shalit. That's the same cheshbon exactly. That's part of that debate. So if you take Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky's svara, so then even if you want to be machmir from the Gemara and Sotah and say that preemptive would not be allowed, which I hear that maybe that's not preemptive. Right, that is not preempted anymore. It's actually Shas Milchama. It's an extension of that original of Milchama that existed. So these are the important halach lemaisa issues that you have to get around. Urim v'tumim we said is not going to be ma'akiv. Melech is ma'akiv, but we have to somehow create a new type of malchus in order to have the melech. And because Sanhedrin would be ma'akiv for the Milchemes Rishus, so therefore lemaisa it's pretty it would be an interesting for the Rabbanut to discuss with the army. You're not allowed to have a Milchemes Rishus Bizman Hazeh, and you would only be allowed to defend yourself. And we're taka restricted Bizman Hazeh because we're in Golus.
What about the Israeli army fighting outside of Israel?
So that would be Milchemes Rishus l'chayra. That would be that's like base David l'Ravcha of its.
Yeah, but
again,
I think it's under the same rule because what they're trying to do is to preempt some other stuff.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not. I know. I thought he was asking to conquer another land.
Conquer or just?
No, you're talking about intelligence, like
I'm
in.
talking about if they ever had to defend Jews.
Oh.
Outside of Eretz Yisrael.
Yeah, but that's tsar ba'alev. That's against Am Yisrael. I think if
They've done that.
yeah, if the like Entebbe.
No, it's beyond Entebbe.
Yeah.
There were like specific, action that was happening in
No.
Russia,
Yeah, we're listening. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I wanted to hear this. Yeah, let's go.
No. It's known. It's a known thing. There was some.
And the Mamish had a.
No, they actually what they did, and they actually trained people in Iraq. It was like back at like 56 something, and they trained people
to fight,
carry weapon, concealed weapon, and so they went there. The Mossad actually was like.
Right.
They trained the people to fight, defend themselves.
Wow.
Also in Russia, partially.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like with the KGB and all the.
Yeah, to a degree, to protect against specific.
Wow.
It wasn't like a program, official program, but there was some.
Right. So I think that would all be Atzara Oyevischem. Okay.
The mitzvah is within the land, within the Bahai land, just protecting Am Yisrael.
So the Rambam says Hatzar haba aleichem. So I think that's not just in Eretz Yisrael. The Ezes Yisrael mitzar shaba aleim. That's not only in the Gvul of Eretz Yisrael. Anywhere there's a Yid that's being attacked, for the Mossad to come and to help would be Milchemes Mitzvah. Yeah. To be Marchiv Gvul Eretz Yisrael, that's Milchemes Rishus, and that's not Nogeh.
Now you have to define what's the goal of Israel.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. But either way, it's not Nogeh because we don't have a Sanhedrin. Yeah. And once it will be Nogeh, so then Eliyahu Hanavi will paskin for us where the Gvul is. Okay, the next Gemara, just to start very quickly. The next halacha is Ve'ein Moisifin ala Ir. So this is a fascinating Gemara. Gemara says that for adding on to the land of Eretz Yisrael, you need Sanhedrin Gedolah, the Mishnah says. Ein Moisifin ala Ir v'ala Azaros. You can't add to the Ir, to Yerushalayim, and to the Azara, what? Without El Al Pi Bezin Shel Shivim Ve'echad. What? Just stam. anyone find that line of that Mishnah interesting? I'm going to read it to you again. Ein mosifin al ha'ir bi al ha'azaros el al pi Bizman shevachem. Bezdin decides Yerushalayim is too tiny. We need more area for the din of Yerushalayim. And the Azara in the Beis HaMikdash is also too tiny. So we need more area for the Azara. So we have to expand. They also knew people in the real estate market. So what do they need? They need Bezin Shel Shevim Echad to paskin, and the Gemara in Shavuos has more details about the whole process, how they did it with karbanos and with flutes and everything, a whole procedure. Oh, great! That was Daf Yomi, right? That's Shavuos, Daf Yudalet around. So what's Rabbi said? What's bothering that lashon? Ein moisivin ala ir v'al azaros el api bezin shel shevim echad. Mishnah is l'chayra skipping something. There's the Azara, which is the Beis HaMikdash ba'atzmo. Right. Then there's Yerushalayim, Shini Bezin Shel Shevim Echad. What about Har HaBayis? Har HaBayis, which is the middle ground. Har HaBayis is the middle ground. It's like Machna Leviyah, right? So the Mishnah never says anything. So Zok the Rashash, right? What happened to Har HaBayis? He's Mesuppak. Why it doesn't say anything about Har HaBayis? Kosher mi Har HaBayis, do negen Machna Levina. Umishtalchim menu zovin. There's halachas, there's kedusha to the Har HaBayis. So why didn't it say that you need Bezin Shel Shivim Ve'echad? So it could be that in Echanami, Har HaBayis, we might be stuck. Because there might be a din. The Yor Sameach writes that there's a din of the Har. There's a din of the mountain. I think we spoke about it in a drasha years ago, that there was a din that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, some Sefer writes in Parshas Vayera, that the psukim are mashma that when Avram Avinu started walking to the Akedah, it wasn't a mountain, it was a valley, and then HaKadosh Baruch Hu made a nace that it was a mountain. So some Sefer writes there that he writes in a tshuva that it's ma'akev for the Beis HaMikdash to be on a har, and he thinks he writes in a tshuva, he thinks that's one of the problems, that the Arabs really dug it out, and it's not really sitting on a mountain right now for the Beis HaMikdash, but when Mashiach comes, it's going to have to be rebuilt, that there should be a Har HaBayis there, it should be a mountain, and then it should be put on top of it. But once you learn like that, like the Yor Sameach saying like this, some Sefer, that there's a din of a har, so then this option of extending the area is not going to be an option, because it has to be specifically that har, and that's part of the Kedusha of the Mikdash, so it's a phenomenal idea. The Azara, the room where the actual Kodshim was brought, the Hakrava was, that Bezin HaGadol can decide to extend. Yerushalayim, which is the other end, that Bezin HaGadol could extend. But the actual mountain, which you would think is just the foundation for the Beis HaMikdash, that has to be left as a har, and that the Mishnah was very clear that that cannot be extended, even if Bezin HaGadol would try to extend.